Hey, how's it going? Oh shit. Oh, thank God.
Yeah, start the stream, mate. Is your voice allowed to be shared? Hi. I sent you an invite to the session, mate. You should got one.
Yeah, I'm just it's those connection issues that they've been having all day.
Alright everybody, hello and welcome everybody to a new chapter in CRC Racer. With Mexico now out of the way, we are now confronted with more live action for round 11 out of 50, very close to the end of the season, and what a season it's been as it's promised so much good action and the drivers battled out for the win. We are definitely in for a show around here, Spielberg, the Red Bull rig, as it has 3 DRS zones, plenty of opportunities for the drivers to overtake around here. It should make a thriller of a race out here. So it is around 11 here at the Red Bull ring, and I am joined today unexpectedly by Fallen Monkeys, and this time he's the co-commentator.
Oh, hello, hi everyone. Happy to be here, Jamie. Thanks for having me. Really excited to jump into the race here in this qualifying session. Now I'm gonna, of course, as the co-commentator, I'm gonna let you take the lead here as we're here into Q1, just getting started.
Yep, 18 minutes. It looks a bit cloudy out there, so could we see some rain potentially falling in? So we're going to read you out the last week's results because I wasn't here. So Walter won the race ahead of Total Peace. Javu Visitor finished in P3. AJ Wuhan finished in P4. Steve Raw Gamer in P5. He almost finished in second place, but penalties kicked in at the end of the race. Do well at DC, P6 and P7, so good results for both of them in that last race. To Griffin P8, Mark P9, Nathan P10, Nosley P11, J Law P12, Alfio P13, and there was 7 DNFs including Knight, Danny Boy, Het Pompier, J Luke, SpongeBob, Milan, and Jack who DNF. So we've got some cars coming out of the track now, and who is the first man out of the track? Let's get everything enabled, to get the full map up, and it's an Alfa Romeo who's out first. So is it Het Pompier? No, it's like it's his teammate. So where is he?
It's Knight that's going to be out first here, leading the charge on the out lap.
So, full qualifying session then, 18 minutes, so you know, the bottom 5 get knocked out, the top 15 go through. In Q2, it's 60-minute qualifying session, top 10 go through, the bottom 5 get knocked out, and obviously Q3, the top 10 shootout. So ISO Knight then makes his way towards the final 2 corners. He DNF'd in Mexico last time out, but he's still got some good points on the board. He makes his way around the final corner now to take us through a lap around Austria. So DRS is open as he fast approaches his turn 1. I want to use all the curb on the left to open up the corner. and he goes a bit wide there, lost a bit of time through there. As you can see, it's already raided, so there's no wonder there's a mad dash to get out of the pit lane. Yeah, it's definitely raided out there, so this lap time has to count. No one can afford to back off or invalidate, so looks like Q1 could come to an end as the IS9 goes wide into turn 3. DRS is now enabled on the straight. We've got some yellow flags in the last sector. There's 2 cars still in the pit lane. That's AJ and Nosley. They could have cost themselves in Q1 already because of the raid. Depends how quick it falls down here as we make our way out of turn 4. So dramatic start already to the first qualifying session.
Yeah, no kidding. I wasn't expecting the rain to show up this quick here in Q1. Barely even half a lap through and already is falling. But you took the words out of my mouth. The likes of, I'm looking at Mr. BT, Nosley, and even AJ Wuhan, who he himself is still in the pits here. Like you said, I think they're really going to be setting themselves up at a disadvantage. With the rain starting to fall, that grip is going to be lost on track, and I think the times are going to get slower and slower, which could possibly bring an early end to their qualifying, which could be a little bit of a disappointment here in here at Austria.
So the times are starting to come in then as everybody sets their first lap times while they can, while it's still dry. So Nathan then is the quickest man with a 4.7. In fact, it goes to Giroux Vizza with a 4.7 now. He's ahead of, by 6/10. Well, that's a good lap time from Giroux Vizza. He's definitely safe as Total P slots in to second place. You can see all the times start to cramp in. Jibe up into P2 with a 4.3. That's a good lap time. He's 5 thousandths quicker than Total P's. The next man's crossed the line is a Ferrari driver. Is that Danny Boy? Yes, it is. He goes 9th place with a 4.9. So the drivers who have not set a lap time is C4 Gamer, Walter down there. He's got a lot of, look at that. There's a lot of traffic in front of him. He can get compromised. And as the rain's getting heavier, the first lap times have to count. Otherwise, he's going to lose out a lot of time. There's a lot of traffic in Walter's way, so he best hope he can get through all of that without any major contact as he makes his way down into turn 6 now.
Yeah, and very crucially, I'm starting to notice a lot more spray coming off of the tires when I'm looking at Wouter, Royal Gamer, and crucially, I'm looking at the tire choice. They've already done a lap on these tires, so I think there was an invalidation on their first lap, which that alone could be the disadvantage. It looks like the rain is starting to fall harder and harder. The track is looking a little bit more slippery, a little more unstable compared to what it was. That was an AlphaTauri that went for a spin on the penultimate corner as well, as I was riding on board with Royal Gamer. And P5 for the Aston Martin drivers, so I guess there's still a little bit of grip here on track still in this stage of Q1. Yeah,
despite getting a validation or mistake, Walter's still got up to P4 along with C4 Gamer, who did not set a lap time, up into P5, so the rain did not affect those two as they made their way into the top 5. AJ then, the only driver except Mr. BT, not quite sure what happened to him unless he's got a qualifying ban or went off the track or something because I didn't see him out there. But he's out there, AJ, coming through turn 6 now, coming through the difficult part in turn 7. The rain is starting to come in. You don't want to touch that curve on the edge because it will send you spinning, but AJ didn't. So he makes his way now towards the final 2 corners, coming through turn 8 and turn 9. There's a McLaren in the way. Hopefully he gets out the way, which he does. Now makes his way around the final corner. Got to be very careful not to invalidate around here, which is easy to do. Makes his way across the line now. Where's it going to be? 18th place. Can he improve? I'm not quite sure because as you can see, the weather's it's getting heavy and heavy now, so DRS is still enabled and AJ still go for it, but obviously there's not a lot of time for AJ to make if it's going to get heavier. 16 point, if you hunches down that first sector, but obviously there's only one corner in the first sector. I can see the rear end sliding as he applies throttle, losing traction then, making his way to the second DRS zone now as we make our way into the braking zone at turn 4. Brake at the 100 meter board, try and rotate the car, get back on the power as you can see there. Everybody retiring knowing that's the end of their qualifying session, so this is a short Q1 session then. The drivers who are knocked out is Tigriff. AJ was losing it there. Yep, he's 4 tenths down and invalidation, so I dare say AJ's qualifying is over within 7 minutes.
Yeah, it's looking like that's going to be the case, and I really don't blame AJ for trying to go for it on that second lap. Really had nothing to lose being down in 18th, but unfortunately, I think his qualifying, like we were mentioning earlier, the fact that he went into the pits or stayed into the pits, came out a little bit later to get that lap done. I think at the end of the session, that's really what outdid him. And crucially, even I'm looking at Knight, who's currently on an outlap right now. I think he's going to try himself, but like we mentioned, he was the first driver out on track, but finds himself down in a lowly P19 here in the timing table. So I'm not too sure if he just had a bad lap his first time around, but for the first driver that was out on track, in theory, would have had the most pace, but doesn't seem to be the case there in that Alfa Romeo.
Did see him on his lap time. He made a few mistakes, hence why he's down there P19. Danny Boy is making his way back in the pit lane to Griff's out there on the set of Soccer Power tyres he used on his. No, he's on a brand new set, so he's hoping that he can make it through on a brand new set of Q2 on the tyres into Q2. I saw Knight, so we're going to watch him then as he makes his way around the final two corners. I wonder how much grip out there. Look at this, definitely getting worse. I'm not surprised that DRS will be disabled in the next few seconds here, but I saw Knight making his way across the finish line as he makes his way towards turn 1, breaking at the 100-meter board, using the curb on the entry. He goes a bit deep and he doesn't invalidate, so he's still continuing then as he makes his way towards up the hill towards turn 2. This little turn here, MotoGP is where they call it turn 2. The 210s down in their first sector, so he's definitely not. This is where he made a mistake on his previous lap time, but it didn't go as deep as this one. You can see he fights the car for traction there as he makes his way out of turn 3, making his way down into turn 4, braking at the 100-meter board, trying to rotate the car, kiss the apex on the entry here, get back up into third and fourth gears for short shifting to get the traction. Now coming towards turn 5, just fling it in. Obviously in the dry it'd be very easy, but in these conditions you can see him drifting out wide there, coming into turn 6 now. Don't use that curb. As you can see, he spun the car, let the tyres up, and that's it for him. He's definitely out of qualified. So Griff is the only driver out there with him in P16, and as you can see, his first sector is down, middle sector way down. So those two then definitely have to retire, and that's the end of qualify 1. That was very quick, that qualify 1.
Yeah, almost blinking he'll miss it here in qualifying 1, and I was looking at Griff. Really it was turn 3 that did him. You mentioned Knight fighting the car in turn 3 to Griff was a bit of a similar situation, a big tank slapper on the exit, and I think at that point it was just damage control, hoping for the best. What we saw at the end of Sector 2, it wasn't meant to be, and for Griff, a little unfortunate, just on the wrong side of that top 15 and out of qualifying 1 here.
Yep, drivers are knocked out. To Griff, Indian Jesus on his return back to racing. Welcome back, Indian Jesus. P17, not where he wants to be at the start, but he can't do anything about it in this conditions. AJ P18, I saw Knight P19, and Mr. BT, the only driver, did not set lap time. I presume he had a qualifying ban or something like that. So top of the timing sheets is Jeroen Rizzo with a 4.1, 210s clear of Jaime, total P's P3, and the championship contenders there in the top 4. So while this is happening, I'm going to read out the championship standings. Walter in P1, 82 points clear of Jeroen Rizzo. There's only like 5 rounds left, well 4 rounds after this one, so it's very hard for Jeroen to close that gap in. Total P's in P3 ahead of C-Raw Gamer. Head Bompier in P5 ahead of AJ in P6, only a few points clear of Duel. Duel's doing a fantastic job so far. Mark in P8 ahead of Griff in P9, 99 points. The Real DC matching points, tie-in with Nathan ahead of Rudy in P12. Iceron Knight in P13 ahead of Alex in P14. Mr. B2 P15 ahead of Danny Boy, Foul Fury, J-Law, SpongeBob and Milan. That's the end of qualifying. A very quick qualifying session for you as it started raining at the very beginning. So those first lap times were absolutely crucial. No room for error.
So. Yep, crucial as ever, but now it's going to bring the question, as we're going into qualifying 2, are we going to see things get worse with the weather? Are they going to get a little bit better? Of course, the strategy implication a little bit more, but it looks like it's still raining, and I think we might just be in, definitely intermediate tire territory here, so evens out the playing field. The times might get a little bit slower here in Q2, but of course, the end goal is still the same here. Got to make it into that top 10.
Indeed, and the conditions here, it is raining, so intermediates will be at use for this qualifying session here. We're waiting for the drivers to come out now. The 2 Alfa Romeos are the first drivers to come out. That's the Haas garage. And the 2 McLarens follow with them. So Nathan down there in P6 then, along with his teammate Rudy in P11. Rudy outside the top 10 in the championship. He has had the pace at the beginning of the season, but it didn't quite work out for him as he's made many mistakes in these last few races. So hopefully he can find his rhythm again and try and get back up there with the top guys. Because we know he's got the pace, but the consistency is another thing to have as well in racing. So most of the drivers then coming out of the qualifying session. It stopped raining, it looks like. You can see there, no raindrops. Is that
yeah, and already as I'm looking down the pit wall, the rain, you mentioned the rain stops, and even I'm looking at Jerome in the pits. He's flashing a set of soft tires, so he might be trying to wait it out here a little bit, hope for the track to dry up, let that dry line form, and then just jump the gun on everybody else and see if he can get that lap time in on the softs.
It looked like it's raining in the middle sector though, because I'm on board with a few drivers here and there's a few drops coming down in the middle sector, so it's not raining in the first sector and the third sector as well. It is raining, so the first sector we didn't see any rain, so I wonder. Yeah, so it's still intermediate compound tyres. Look at the two Haas drivers very close together, followed by the McLaren drivers, so the two Haas drivers are going for a lap. Rudy looking for a slipstream behind Nathan as they make their way onto the straight now. Nathan Booth heading into turn 1, breaking on the 100 metre board, using the curb on the entry. Try not to go out wide here, otherwise you'll validate your lap time. Nice exit there from Nathan as he makes his way up towards turn 2 right here. Flat out corner should be in these intermediate conditions then as we make our way into turn 3. 100 metre braking point, double locks the tyres. Very careful to get back on traction here because it's very easy. Low speed corner, you can see wheel spinning at the exit. In 4th gear, he's still sliding as Rudy's got closer to him, so Rudy's finding a lot of time compared to Nathan as we make our way into turn 4. Braking at the 100 metre mark, locking up again, kissing the apex of the entry, back up to 4th gear for rotation as he lost the car slightly, but gets back on the power. He backs out because Rudy is right behind him, so if he continues with that lap time, he'll be holding up his teammates, so I think it was wise for him to let him go. And it's a 49.8 in that middle sector there for Rudy as he keeps downshifting, trying to find some front end grip as the car just continues to wash away from him. As we make our way down into the penultimate corner, another difficult corner. DRS is enabled, Eric.
Yeah, and that might be a little bit of a cue here for those I'm seeing now the two soft tire runners here that are waiting for this cue. Jerome and sorry, I can't read out the name. I'll call him J-Law, who are sitting with the softs, and even Total P's now looking to flash a set of soft tires. Rudy, meanwhile, you were mentioning it was a good heads-up play from Nathan to let his teammate through once he realized the lap was done. But Rudy, I think, got caught up in a little bit of a dirty air into turn 1 through Nathan's car being so close together with the teammates. But I think they made that up a little bit with the slipstream going up into turn 3. But still a good lap, a 112.3 for Rudy, put him into P3. But it's Jime currently on that provisional P1 with that near 112 flat, but I think as the track might be drying up a little bit, we might see times get a little bit quicker here.
In the first sector, it's not raining because I went on board a few drivers who were in the first sector, but in the middle of the third sector, it is raining, so that's quite weird. But I like the way how it works around this game. Rudy 1/10 up in the middle sector, so he is finding time. His teammate Nathan down there, he's obviously going to find a lot more time. And Rudy's got wide to the final corner. That will lose him as DRS is enabled then. It's a 12.0, 3/10 up as Nathan gets ahead of his teammate only by 100ths. McLaren coming across the line. That's Dual 11.7 for Dual 11.7. Look at the gap between the top two. C4 Gamer ahead of Dual. C4 Gamer likes these conditions. He's always there. Meanwhile, we saw Jibe, who was 6/10 up in the middle sector, but he's sadly invalidated. He's back in the pit lane, but it could be dried up anyway, so it don't really matter. But still, Danny Boy up into P7 on the 12.12, along with Het Bompje in P6. So we're just waiting for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drivers to come out of the pit lane and see what they do, because it says they're still on the intermediates, and someone's still on the softs. Total P's, Chivoon, Mark, and J Law are on the soft compound tyres. So we'll see if it dries up towards the end of Q2, but it'll be very interesting though to see what tyres are starting towards this race. Will it be the softs or really be the mediums?
It's gonna be interesting, and I mean the more I'm looking at these onboards, when I'm looking down the pit lane, it looks like there's still a little bit of rain that's falling, but it seems like the driest section of the track is really just the stretch between turn 3 and turn 4. That's looking dry, but everywhere else it looks like there's still a little bit of rain, a little bit of spray. Not quite the time for the softs just yet here.
You can see on board with Danny Boy, the track is starting to dry up now. Danny Boy, when he make the switch to the tri-compound tyres, no, he stays out, but he's improving 4/10 in the middle set to make his way around the final corner. He's evaluated on that curb there, so that lap time will not count. It'll be 11.8 though. That will put up to third place if he didn't invalidate. But 8 minutes and 50 seconds left to go in this session. Then he'll be the first driver to come out on those soft compound tyres, which is it's just a waiting game now as the clock still continues to count down, as Jaime is the first driver to go on the soft compound tyres. Then I think the softs will be better than the medium compound tyres because it's still dry now, and obviously the softs have better temperature towards the medium compound tyres, because I can see a few drivers going on the medium tyres such as Seeb and Dual, but softs at this stage will warm up quicker, generate that grip that they really want on their one lap pace compared to the medium compound tyres. Yeah, Jaime's the only driver out there, so could he have called it very early by going out there?
Yeah, it might be, I mean, it doesn't look like Jaime is struggling too much, although it is an outlap, so it's not an accurate representation compared to when they're going flat out, but it looks still, it's looking manageable from what I can see with the onboard, albeit a little, I'll be honest, a little sketchy. But now Duil just left the pit lane, and so did Seaborel Gamer, and they've fit on a set of medium tires, so it's really going to be interesting now. I think we're going to start seeing, I guess I could say, the dominoes falling with these with the choice now. Do they want to go on the softs or try the medium tires to try to get that better race strategy?
Jaime making his way coming out of turn 3 there, 1.4 seconds quicker in the first sector, so he's on a flyer at the moment as we make our way down into turn 4. Doesn't look like he's struggling so far, hitting every apex, getting out of the braking zones and traction zones very nicely indeed. Coming out of turn 4 there, nice exit from him as we make our way down into turn 5. Just flip the car and keep the minimum speed up, get as close to the curb as you possibly can without invalidating it. At this point you want to avoid the curb on the entry because it will send your car off the track. Middle sector there for purple middle sector there from Jaime as he makes his way now towards the final two corners. Let's see how he takes the first one. Oh, he gets on the curb there and he's lost the car, but he'll still go on pole position. No, he doesn't because he invalidates.
Yeah, but I think a little bit like we were mentioning, it looks like the when I'm looking at the track map, the northern portion of the track where we've got turn 3 straight down into turn 4. Looking to be really dry, but as we're heading down closer, I guess I could say down the hill, down towards the pit wall, the pit lane, the start-finish straight, it looks like that's where things are getting a little bit slippery still, not quite dry. We saw that with Jaime, but now with Duil, I think next to come around, I'm gonna keep an eye on him and see how he can handle this, especially through sector 3, heading down towards the start-finish straight here.
I've just wondered, those drivers still in the pit lane are waiting for like the 3-minute mark because they wanted the track to be at its, not at its best, but better than before. So that's probably why they're waiting in the pits, for the track to improve slightly as Double makes his way around the final corner. And it's going to be a 4.8. That's a decent first lap on the dry tyres. C4 Gamer crosses the line. It would have been pole, but sadly he's evaluated his lap time. So let's go for it again. Will he go for it again on the second run on the medium compound tyres?
I don't think so. Cause I think he might have cut the final corner, extended it just a little bit too much, because he's actually invalidated this lap that he's on for Seeb as well. I noticed Ruddle just set up 104.2 on the softs, and I think this is sort of maybe what the other drivers who haven't gone out yet are waiting for, to really see these times start to fall. And now they're going to take advantage of it, as you can see a little bit of a dash out of the pits. The likes of Boomferg, Total Peas, and Wouter just leaving recently.
Rudy getting on the grass there as Mark tries to get past. Did you see that?
No, I completely missed that.
It looks like Rudy didn't want to give him a slipstream, so he actually went on the grass to get out of Mark's way, even though he didn't have to do that. But Mark makes his way around turn 5 now. He gets on the curb. and now comes through turn 6, 44.4 in the middle sector. Turn 7 here, easy flat. Just try not to invalidate on the exit because it's very easy to, as you bring the car out wide. Coming through turn 8. Oh, he didn't really use the curb he wanted to. They're coming through the final corner. J-Law 3.9 as Mark makes his way across the line. It's a 3.9, so very close between the top two. Look at that, 4,000 separate the two of them. More drivers yet to cross the line though, so let's see what lap times they do. The track is definitely brightened up, so the guys in Q1 might be a little bit frustrated here, knowing that the track's getting better and could stay that way. So yeah, those drivers such as AJ, who's definitely got the pace to make it out of Q1, he's a top 10 material driver. He'll be very frustrated knowing that the track's getting better and better.
Yeah, but it really is that time to be perfect here. A little under 4 minutes to go in qualifying, so not too much time if you do make a mistake. If you do get an invalidation, like we've already seen so far, to get that next lap in. So as we're keeping an eye out on these times, I think, like I said, we're not quite at the point of perfection, but I think we're essentially close enough to that point where just a tiny mistake could really be the difference here between making it through into Q3 or unfortunately having to sit on the sidelines here at the end of Q2.
3 minutes and 15 seconds left to go as we come towards the dire stages of qualifying. 3.6 for Mark, but here comes Martin. The track's definitely brightened up. It's a 3.6 and he's a few hundred slower. He's in P2 just behind Relentless Mark in P1 there. So we've got more drivers yet to cross the line. We've got some coming out of the pit lane as such as C4 Gamer switching over to the soft compound tyres. Majority of the drivers are on the soft compound tyres, barring DC, who's on the medium compound tyres.
Yep, and I was just riding with Jerome. He had a purple sector 2 on his time with the first one on the board, a 103.6. Looks to be the norm here, aiming for those 103.6, but puts him up into P3 there. So a good lap time for him.
Nathan JB then. I think he's just completed a lap. He's got up into P6 just ahead of his teammate Rudy there. His teammate Rudy on an out lap on a brand new set of soft compound tyres. C4 Gamer on a brand new set of softs. So is Jime. So we're just waiting for more drives. Total P's second place in the championship. Is about to cross the line to start his first flying lap on the brand new set of softs then. Using all the track on the left. Take the first corner. You can see the rear started to slide a bit. So it took too much curb there. Probably to unsettle the car. Making our way up the hill towards turn 2, coming into turn 3. This one slammed the brakes on the 100-metre board. Important to scrub off all the speed here because it's a low speed corner. Traction is really crucial here. As you can see, got good traction coming out there, no wheel spin. As we make our way onto the DRS zone here, coming down to turn 4, using all of the track again. Kiss the apex here, get back up into 4th gear. Nice traction coming out of there. As we make our way down into turn 5. Get as close to the curb as you can through here. Then use the outside curb. Then you want to avoid this curb here. You want to get as close to it as you can, but not touch it because it will send you spinning, as we saw with IS5 in Q1. As Total Peace makes his way towards the penultimate corner, just fling it in. Don't invalidate through here. Now to the final corner we go. Trying to go out wide, use the curb though. DRS wide open, and Total Peace will come across the line to set a 3.6. Eric, 4 cars with a 3.6.
Yep, it's all coming down to it's a game of hundredths of a seconds here in Q2 as far as the top 4, nearly top 5 are concerned. As who was that? I think that might have been Royal Gamer who said a 103.6 himself, but
P2
crucially, yeah, the NP2 crucially is Mark's 103.616 for now is still holding up as the best time in Q2. But with 30 seconds left, I think we might see a little bit of improvement here.
Alex goes P10, he pushes DC. DC, interestingly, he's still on those medium compound tyres. He can't go back in the pit lane because it's not enough time, so he's committed to those medium compound tyres. He's done 4 laps on those mediums, so I wondered if he knew that he was going to make it into Q2 himself. Martin's retired. Who else is out there? Rudy then has invalidated. That's it for Rudy. He is out of Q2. Where is DC? Dual coming to the middle sector with a 44.7. He's 1/10 up. Crucially for him, is that 1/10 enough to make himself get into Q3? Final sector left though. He needs to get it to absolute perfection here. Coming around the penultimate 2 corners now. Very using all of the track on the left there. Jive goes up into P4. Where's Duel? It's going to be P13. He does not beat his teammate, despite him being on the medium compound tyres. Danny Boy then makes his way around the final corner. It's 2/10 improvement in the middle sector. Is that going to be enough to get himself into Q3? And it's not. It's P15 there. So where's Alex? Alex possibly lost one. He backs out of it. He bails out. He's 1/10 up in the middle sector. I wonder why he didn't continue. Did he want to start at P11 there? Somebody's just moved up. I believe that was... Who was it? I can't tell there. But somebody moved up. And that's the end of qualifying.
J-Law possibly, who just came around turn 1 in P7. I didn't quite see it, but just looking at the track position, I think that was the case. Nosey, meanwhile, I think he might have been aware that he had that P11 in the bag. I mean, the real DC had an invalidation. Rudy had an invalidation as well. So maybe taking that strategic, I call it the best of the rest, the poor man's pole position for that free choice of tires in the race. Assuming, of course, the race is going to be dry, and that's, I unfortunately, on my end at least, haven't gotten a weather report just yet for the race. Not too sure, Jamie, if you've got one on.
He's usually Head Bompier is the weatherman, comes in every week with a report, but hasn't said anything in the chat. Mark's got a Q3 ban, so don't expect Mark to be on pole position, but he's currently on provisional pole at the moment, ahead of C4 Gamer, looking good down there in P2. Walter P3. Look how close it is between first to 8th, first to 10th, half a second in it between those guys. So incredibly close. Jam in P4, Giroud in P5, Total P's in P6 ahead of J-Law. Nathan JB in P8 out-qualifies his teammate again. Ferg in P9 and Het Bompier in P10. The two Alpha tires are looking good there, but obviously one of them has got a Q3 ban, so he'll start down in P10, not the optimal positions, because the drivers around you will start on a brand new set of tires behind, such as Alex and Rudy down there. So Mark will start in P10 and he has to try and do something from there. But Q3 then, Eric, who do you think is going to take pole position, mate?
If I'm looking at the Q3, if I have to make a couple guesses here, it's nice and sunny out. Doesn't look like we'll have any wrenches with the rain. I mean, I always like. You might understand this call here. I gotta go with Wouter here as my call here for pole. Not just because he's leading the championship, but I mean I know the pace he has. But I mean Royal Gamer's shown a lot of pace as well in that Alfa Romeo, so he could be a driver to look out for as well here.
Exactly, I agree with you on the Wouter, because Wouter, as we've both seen in ISRL and CRL, he is quite quick. So we both know how quick he is. Obviously, he's the championship leader for a reason, and he's took many pole positions around this season. So I'm not going to be surprised to see him on pole. But who can snatch it away from him? Total P's is a promising driver to look out for. Giroud says he doesn't really like this track because obviously I think it's a pad traction here. So I don't expect Giroud to get pole unless he can find something out of the bag here. Just performed. Who else is in contention? I say Jime's one of them. C4 Gamer possibly. He's more of a race pace driver. He's got decent race pace. We've seen him win in Baku this season. His second win in CRL. Almost got the podium in Mexico, but those penalties just affected him and put him down the grid. So I believe C4 Gamer is the driver who's about to cross the line to start a flying lap there. So I'll go on board with him. Let's see what he does down into turn 1, braking at the 100 metre board. Doesn't use all the track on the left because most drivers do. As you can see, he lost the rear end slightly on exit at turn 1, so that will compromise him all the way up to the end of sector 1. Well, sector 1's going to be a 60.0, usually looking for a 50.7 in the first sector. Good exit there from Seeb as he applies DRS on this second straight here. Or third, shall I say. The second one was before. Braking down at the 100 metre board. Kiss the apex on the entry, short shift up to 4 to get to break traction, get as close to this as you can, minimising the distance, get up to turn 5. Nice entry there from C4 Gamer, and exit as well, doesn't invalidate on the exit. 44.3, you want to avoid this curb, use all of the curb in turn 7. Now it's just turn 8 and turn 9. Critical corners you have to get absolute spot on because validations will occur quite common around this part of the track. DRS open then as he makes his way to 3.8 is the benchmark. Obviously that's not quick because we've seen him do quicker as Total P's replaces him with a 3.6.
Yep. So Total P's had a little bit of a better lap as I was riding on board with them there, and you could see that there, just
Oof.
2/10 of a second quicker, and it looks like 103.8 seemed to be the for the most part the benchmark. But now as Wouter's coming around the final few corners, I'm gonna see what he can do as he's gonna head. It's gonna be close here. It's a 103.6 and just beats out the time from Total P's there.
Got a distant toe behind Jime, who is about to start. Oh, Jime spun coming out turn one. He's lost traction. Is he okay? He hasn't hit the wall. Yeah, he's okay.
No, he hasn't hit the wall. He's okay. Just very overheated tires. I would have to say for the least there, but could have been much worse for him. I think just riding the curb on the exit, and of course over revving the car just a little bit, and that was the cause for the spin right on the exit of turn one there.
Not just qualified, I see people spinning turn one, but obviously the race as well. He's very lucky not to lose a wheel or a front wing. Will he bin these set of softs, or can he keep going? Because it was just the first corner he messed up on, so he could potentially do another lap on these softs, just cool them down and go for it again. Obviously he's got enough fuel in the car because it was just turn one, so you don't want to like go on a brand new set. He could possibly still use this set and see what lap time he can produce then. Right, who else is out there? I think majority of drivers have come back into pit lane and just completed their first and second lap on these set of soft compound tyres. Bompy is out there coming into turn 3. I think he's just completed a lap, yes, with the lack of EOS he's got in the Alfa Romeo. So Jime's back in the pit lane, so he does not go for another run on these set of soft compound tyres. Looks like he was in a rush to get back in the pit lane as well. So he's a bit out of sync in terms of setting a lap time, because obviously everybody else except him and his teammate have a set of lap time. Obviously we know Mark's got a Q3 ban, but Jime is out of sync then.
Yeah, but I do think that was a good call from Jime, just to stick with the program. That first lap didn't work out too well for him, so just head into the pits, put a fresh set of tires on, head back out, knowing that you've got the best possible tire choice to try to possibly bring yourself up the field, rather than essentially desync out of qualifying and maybe mess up your timing when you want to go out on that final lap at the end of the session, when the track is going to be in theory at its quickest.
Indeed. I've noticed a lot of people have been struggling in turn 1 recently. Do you find turn 1 difficult? Because I certainly do. Like, I could get it absolutely spot on and I could completely mess it up. How do you find it?
I do find turn 1 to be relatively tricky myself. I tend to have to take it a little bit slower than what I'd like in order to make it through consistently. I mean, I've known. If I'm gonna look at what Jime did, I've experienced that. I'll call it that joy, due to lack of a better term, more times than I'd like to admit myself in practice in events. So honestly, I do think it is a difficult corner there. That one, and of course turn 3, just trying to get on the power as quick as possible is just it's a bit of a pain for me as well. I tend to lose the car a lot myself.
This time Sevo Gamer has invalidated through the first set. He was up, but sadly he went a bit too wide and that's cost him, so it looks like he's going to have to do another lap time again. Where's Total P's? Total P's out there on the soft compound tyres. Apparently, according to my timing screen, Total P's set his best lap time on the mediums. Is that true?
Yeah, I didn't see Total P's there, but I'm looking at the best times. I'm seeing that as well. So interesting here from Total P's. But if it is true, if he did do it on the mediums, in theory, now that he's got a set of soft tires on, I think there might be a little bit more pace in the tank that Total P's might be hiding from everybody. As this Q3 is starting to approach a little bit of a closing stage here with around 5 minutes to go now.
Total P's makes his way towards the line. It's going to be a quicker time. It's a 3.3. That's the benchmark everybody has to beat. But Total P's, I could have sworn I saw him on a set of softs on his last lap, because I was on board with him, and I would have mentioned he was on a set of mediums in Q3. So I don't know if he actually did a lap time on the mediums. I could have sworn I saw him on the softs. But anyways, nevertheless, it was a good lap time on the mediums, and he improved 3/10 quicker on the soft compound tyres. So everybody then has to try and beat it. C4 Gamer has stayed out there to do another lap, and he's invalidated again. C4 Gamer is not enjoying this track in terms of invalidations.
Yeah, not having the best of time here in qualifying 3. So I think C4 Gamer probably going to be jumping into the pit lane now, just get a fresh set of tires on and go back out one last time. Maybe leave with about 2.5 minutes to go, just to be on track and be on a flying lap right as that timer hits 0, just to try and see if he can get that lap time in.
Jime, interestedly, he came out of the pit lane and went back in, so I'm not quite sure what was happening there. It says on my screen he had an invalidation, so that's probably why he's back in the pit lane. So Jime then, under massive pressure after making that mistake in turn 1 spinning, that his second lap time he invalidated, so he's got a lot of work to do because both AlphaTauris are occupying the 5th row. So one of them needs to get higher up as well they can, while the other one will start down in P10. So J-Law and Cyril Ferg are on their outlap. Cyril Ferg down in P7. He's done 2 laps on those first set of softs he did. So I wonder, can he improve? Look at the gap between J-Law and Ferg. 1,000's in it between the two. That's impressive, incredible.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even notice that that gap to be close. I think as J-Law is about to start his lap, he's going to be looking to improve on that. I'm sure he would like to start a little bit higher than P6, but I mean, it's crazy to see. I love when I see gaps so close together, and that is not going to help at all for J-Law, as similar to Jime.
He's been disqualified for blocking the pit lane entry yet. Oh my goodness, that's quite harsh because he's just spun. He had no chance to recover at all. The game didn't even give him a chance to try and spin his car the right way. He just got disqualified instantly. I stayed on board with him. That is quite harsh. He'll start down in P10 then. Cyril Ferg in the first sector has gone 2/10 quicker, so keep an eye on him as he makes his way down into turn 4. Good rotation, good traction coming out of turn 4 there. As he makes his way now towards turn 5, just bring it in, get as close to the curb as you possibly can, using this exit. And he is 2/10 up in the middle sector, downshifted to 4th gear to get the rotation. And now he makes his way towards turn 8. Let's see how he takes it. Flicking it in at the 50-meter board, that's your turning in point. And he's using all of the track and more of it. DRS is now wide open. Let's see if he can improve. He's lost a bit of time in that last sector and is P3.
Well, still a good time, brings himself up to a 103.7, but very crucially up into P3 so far, like you mentioned, for Ferg. So I'm sure he'll be happy. But of course, the likes of Jerome on an out lap, Cerebral Gamer just starting his flying lap, and a couple others right behind him as well. So we'll have to see if it's going to last, unless Ferg does decide that he's just going to want to do 2 flying laps here with a minute and a half to go. It's starting to get to the nitty-gritty, really crunch time here for these drivers, and even more so for Jime, who's on a flying lap, doesn't have a time left on the board, and the only driver who has yet to set a time. But as he's approaching turn 5, it's looking to be a clean lap at the very least here, and a 44.1 through sector 2. So we'll see if he can carry this over into the final sector and put a decent time on the board here.
Nathan JB went P3 ahead of Ferg. Ferg, it crosses the line to improve by 1,000 on his second. Oh, Jime's invalidated it. What lap time would it be? Oh, 3.5. That will put me to second place. He could have gone second.
But very crucial, I think that's Jime's qualifying over and done with.
Seagull game in P2. The total P goes quickest with a 3.2. Extends his advantage. And where is Relentless Walter? Walter is coming to the first corner. I believe he invalidated it because you can see the ERS down to 60 already. So Walter's last chance to try and reclaim back pole position away from Total Peace. Total Peace on fire here this evening. 10 seconds to go. Walter 4,000's down in the first set as he makes his way towards turn 3. Can he get a good exit cut out here? You can see a massive ball spin as he applies the throttle there. Make his way onto the third DRS zone here. Coming down into turn 4, breaking the 100-meter board. Can he get it absolutely spot on? Back up to the gears there as he makes his way towards turn 5. Can anybody else improve? Where's Jime? He invalidated it, of course, so he won't be setting a lap time. It's too late for him to set a lap time now. 1/10 up. Walter has found 1/10 to that middle sector. Head bump here, crosses the line, and it's P4 for the Dutchman. 3.6. Just a few hundred shy of Walter. Here comes Walter coming towards the penultimate corner. Bit of traffic in his way, but he's good out of the way. Now to the final corner we go. Let's see what lap time it is. Is it going to be pole? No, it's not. It's P2. and it's a massive margin as well. 3 tenths between Total P's and Walter. C4 Gamer on the second row ahead of Het Bompier. So C4 Gamer finally pieced it together after getting validations throughout his first 2 runs. Nathan JB will be happy in P5, Ferg in P6, Jeroen Visser disappointed P7, but is he on a lap time? No, he's not, he validated it. So that's it, qualifying's done, and Total Peace is on pole. Good job from Total Peace, on fire.
Yeah, absolutely on fire. Taking that pole position with a little bit of dominance there with that 103.2, and I mean Wouter came close, but still 3 tenths behind, and this has got me excited for the for the pace here that we're going to see as we jump into the race. But a little bit of a disappointing qualifying session for Jaime. Just could not get that lap time up. The track limits really affecting him there, as he's going to have to start from a lowly P9.
Indeed. I'm going to head off to the toilet. I'll be right back.
Alright, and very crucially though, for Jaime, a little interesting here. Mark will be starting ahead in P8, so just a little interesting here. But jumping into the race, keep an eye on Total P's, keep an eye on Wouter, and like Jamie mentioned, Rel Gamer, he's got a lot of race pace. He's still up there, starting in 3rd, so definitely a couple drivers to look out for. But I'm excited, ladies and gentlemen, to get into the race here in just a few moments, and of course, jumping into the lobby, nice and clear. So it doesn't look like that rain from qualifying is going to be coming back, at least for the time being. But of course, it is a bit of a long race, so we could see some clouds creep in a little bit later. But for now, it is a dry start as the drivers doing their last little tweaks to the strategy, possibly little setup tweaks on whatever they can on Parc Fermé, and of course figuring out the fuel load, what they want to do. So jumping in here in just a few moments, and I'm excited to see what the drivers can do here around Austria, around the Red Bull Ring. All right, and we've got the queue here, 20 seconds, and we get to jump right into the formation lap, into the start of the race. I'll keep you all company here for a little bit as Jamie comes back in. I'm sure just a few moments here, but like I said, from what I've seen in qualifying, I'm excited to see how this is going to translate in pace for the race. And I mean, we saw track limits in qualifying being a little bit of an issue. So of course, as Total P's leads the way on the formation lap, it's going to be very interesting to see how drivers are going to handle this. And I think I heard a little bit. Jamie, are you back here with us?
I am back, mate. So I'm going to look at the tyre.
Welcome
Thanks, mate. I'm going to look at the tyre strategy now. So interested, top 16 on the softs, bottom 4 on the mediums. So expect a few drivers from 11th downwards to be on the medium compound tyres, but they've opted for the softs. So top 16 possibly on the same strategy as each other, and obviously Indian Jesus, AJ, ISO9, and Mr. Ben BT in P20 going for a longer stint compared to the top 16. So interesting race is going to be 36 laps race ahead of us. The strategy is soft to medium or soft to hard, depends how far you can stretch those softs, and it also depends when the safety cars do occur around here as well. This track is very short, 4.3 kilometers, and I don't know what it is in miles if you're used to miles, which I am as well.
I'm a bit more of a kilometer person myself. Long live the metric system. But yeah, I'm surprised seeing so many soft tire runners from the bottom 10. I really thought we were going to see more medium tire runners here, but we'll see how that's going to play out for them. as they're starting to take their positions on the grid, or at least the front three are. Ed Bombier is holding up just a little bit. The rest of the field, maybe playing a little bit of a tactical move here, letting that top three have to sit a little bit longer than the rest.
Ben's the last driver to come around the final corner. We'll be waiting for him as he makes his way towards the grid now. On those medium compound tyres like Indian Jesus, AJ and Knight. Could the safety car place their hands later in the race, or will it be benefit the soft compound tyres? Anyways, we are set for Austria as we just await the lights. And here we are then, there the lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5, and we are away for round 11 of the Austrian Grand Prix. Seymour Gamer's got a bad start there. He's going to get compromised by Head Bompier. Head Bompier's going to go down the inside. No, he's not. Seymour Gamer claims third place. Nathan JB is side by side with Head Bompier as they make their way down to straight now. Walter settles in behind Total Peas. Walter did go for the move down there to turn 1, but here we are, 2 abreast down the straight as we make our way down into turn 4 now. Head Bompier claims the inside line. Ferg gets out of shape. Chiruvaza takes back P6 away from Ferg. Ferg is going to go 3 wide with both Alpha Tires to make contact. Mark's spun. Mark's hit the wall. Is he out of the race? I wonder. He got squeezed in there by his teammate and Cyril Ferg. But it looks like he's okay. Indian Jesus is down in P18, is so far back, so I wonder if he spun there. I saw Knight down in P19 as well, so both of them might have just made contact at the first corner there. But look at that. Walter is second place behind Seymour Gamer. Total Peas is leading the Grand Prix, so we got the start. The perfect start he wanted, but we're just going to have to wait for the big DRS train now. First interesting lap.
Yep, and as I was looking at the incidents, or looking at what was going on elsewhere on the track here on lap 1, I think Knight and Indian Jesus did get caught up together into turn 1. Crucially though, as well for Mark, as he had another spin here going around the penultimate corner. He's still in the race at the very least, but that extra spin is not going to help him either, as he's going to have to try to catch back up to this leading pack here.
Head Bompier, Seymour Gamer having a race for P3. There's Head Bompier trying to go down the inside, but wasn't close enough, and somebody's made a mistake. Is that Jime?
That's
Jime
Danny
spun.
Boy, I think.
And Jime.
Boy went way off. Oh, Jime as well.
Both of them making contacts as Danny Boy almost hits the back of Danny Boy as he backs out of it. So Danny Boy in P16, Jime in P15, not a race he would have wanted so far. Both Alpha Tauris having a disastrous race within 2 laps because Ferg made a mistake coming out of the third corner. So he was side by side with both Alpha Tauris, and Mark being in the middle there got collected by both of them. And now Jime spun or made contact with Danny Boy. Danny Boy's dropping a lot, so he must have lost his front wing or made contact with Jime is the possible explanation. But the top 4 in all close contention. Rudy, on the other hand, he made a way up into 8th place ahead of J Law. He made a way up into 8th place in the first corner, so we got past him on the first corner. The second lap was good movers alongside him, but he went a bit deep though, so that could have cost him a warning or so. But anyways, Total Peas has a 7/10 advantage as DRS now is wide open for the drivers as AJ versus Duwall. They're going alongside each other. Jerufus is close behind Nathan JB. AJ is going to go down the inside. Duwall sticking around the outside. Nathan spun coming out turn 3. AJ's got the place ahead of DC and Duwall, but Nathan's another spinner, and he's dropped all the way down into P16 from P5 on the grid. Nathan's made another mistake again.
Yeah, a little unfortunate for Nathan there, as that mistake that spun around, dropping him down the field. He's now going to have to try to catch back up. Doesn't look like he's got any visible damage on that Haas car though, so he's just got to keep his head down, pump a couple flying laps in, and try to close up this gap here to this lead pack of cars.
Seymour Gamer sets the fastest lap of a 6.1. He's in DRS range of Walter. Crucially, Het Bompier has dropped out the 1 second range of DRS, so he's 1.2 seconds behind. Needs to find a few tenths to close in, otherwise he'll lose connection with the top 3. But look at Walter then. He's at the back of Total Peas, and it'll be a question of when will he make the move as Rudy overtakes Ferg into turn 3. Rudy, a man on a mission, but obviously Ferg getting a switch back there. Will he use DRS to get back past him? Yes, he does. They're going to go side by side now as we make our way onto the third DRS straight, and down the inside goes Ferg. He reclaims 5th place with a beautiful switch back ahead of Rudy. However, Duwall and AJ are still fighting. Duwall with those soft compound tyres, you expect to keep fighting And look at that, J-Law's going to go side by side with Alex. Alex trying to go around the outside. They're still side by side then as we come into turn 6. They get squeezed, make contact with each other. J-Law has to back out of it, and Alex claims 9th place. Good racing there from the two of them. Thankfully, no major contact. Bit of tyre to side pod damage. Oh, well, side pod there, but hopefully no side pod damage from either of them. Here comes Rudy then. Back on Ferg. Will he wait for hit? Or will he go down the inside to turn 1? He'll crucially wait for it so he can get DRS on his second part. But look at behind him. Giroud Vizza is all over the back of him. So not only he's going to attack, but he's got to defend. And Walter's so close behind Total P's. Here comes Rudy, side by side now. Look at Giroud Vizza. Can he make it 3 wide? No. Giroud Vizza, so smart, backing out of it. Rudy trying to go around the outside. Better traction, better exit from him. Swoops around the outside. Also gets DRS for good measure as Ferg is vulnerable towards Giroud Vizza. Here's Giroud Vizza. He's going to go down the inside of Ferg. Ferg's going to lose 2 positions as Giroud's going to try and squeeze him out. No. Here comes Ferg back on Giroud Vizza as they make their way down this turn 5 and Ferg's backed out of it. So Ferg has lost 2 places within 1 lap to Rudy and Giroud.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a great couple laps of racing here. Rudy taking an extra lap than what he would have liked to get ahead of Ferg there. But I mean, second time's the charm for him as he is up into P5, and he's going to both try to keep Jerome now behind while trying to close up to Bompier, who's really falling off the pace just a little bit compared to the top 3. As now Wouter with a little bit of DRS, is he going to try to go for a move? Are we going to see a lead change into turn 3? No, I think he thought about it for half a second, but just did not close up enough leading into the braking zone to make it work.
Alex in the Red Bulls got past his teammate off to Griff then. Reclaims 9th position ahead of his teammate. AJ has got past J-Law up into P10.
Big accident as J-Law, as he was trying to get past AJ. I think you might have seen that as well. I think Jaime got spun around as well in the process, just trying to take avoiding action. But a little bit of a moment, just a tank slapper that led to a little bit of a domino effect there.
Second time Jaime has made an incident in that third corner, so it's not going well for him. Both AlphaTauris losing a lot of time and position there. Down in P17 with a broken front wing, so both AlphaTauris races can be put to bed unless a safety car can awaken their race. Ferg has got a 3-second time penalty already on lap 7, as I can see most of the drivers go wide. You can see the turbulent air off the back of the drivers. You can see the heat coming off the exhaust there, as Het Bompier is behind Rudy. In fact, Rudy got past him. And here comes Walter on Total P's. Walter is now the race leader as Total P's will get DRS again. Can he get a good exit coming out of turn 3? DRS open there. Will he use a bit of ERS to try and close in? No, he doesn't. He's going to save it up and try and go for it again later in this race. So change of leadership there. As look at that. Giroud Vizza is going to go down the inside of his Dutch compatriot. Oh, they both squeeze each other. Het Bompier gets on the curb. He has to back out of it. Now here comes Ferg. Ferg wants a bit of action as well. Trying to go around the outside into turn 6. Has he got enough grip to go there? They both squeeze each other. Ferg has to get on the curb there. As Het Bompier stays in P6. But Het Bompier is losing a hell of a lot of time because he was almost in position to make an overtake on C4 Gamer on lap 1. But all of a sudden, after that, he just dropped pace. So, wonder what's happened. Oh, C4 Gamer has got another 3-second time penalty. Penalties has been a kryptonite towards C4 Gamer's races because he was in the podium positions again in Mexico and somebody spun. And that is Nathan coming towards the final corner. He was last year's winner of the Austrian Grand Prix and it has gone terribly wrong for him as BT, Danny Boy, has crashed.
He's out. He crashed out on, looks like that was the exit of turn 6, I believe. So not ideal for Danny Boy as that's going to be the end of his race. We've got yellow flags. Doesn't look like it's going to bring out any safety cars though, at least for the time being.
Here comes Duel back at AJ around the outside. It's turn 4. Duel with the soft tyre still to his advantage, needs to get past AJ. AJ, the highest media runner from start to P18, going to go side by side now. AJ's got a grip to go around the outside and claims P10. So now he's behind Tigriff and trying to close in on him. So yeah, interestingly, head Bompier down in P6 there, not really having the pace to stick with the top 3. Rudy up into P4. Can he close that gap between Total P's and Walter for the top 3 there? Be interested to see if he can reduce that gap, but Giroud Vizza is right behind him for P4 though, so that might be a bit of a struggle for him to do so. But C4 Gamer with the 3-second time penalty still on the podium despite having that penalty, as Giroud Vizza has got past Rudy. Easy overtake for Giroud there. He's up into P4, so can he reduce that gap to the top 3 there? Will Rudy try and make a overtake down into turn 4? No, he doesn't. He saves the ERS and sticks with him. So I think these two might work together now to try and close in on the top 3 here. Are tantalisingly close. Look at that, the gap between the top 3 is 5/10. It's so close between those guys there.
Oh yeah, it's a very close gap between the top 3, but I do have to say, Jerome Visser, he's been absolutely flying here around the Red Bull Ring over the last few laps. He's been sort of the center of the attention with overtakes, and already that 3.9 second gap, he's knocked 3/10 off, down to 3.6 now. So it could be, I mean, Jerome Visser looks like he's on the pace to try to close up, especially now that he can see that those top 3 in the distance. That might be a little bit of extra motivation for him to push a little bit more while those tires are still in a little bit of optimal operating range for him here to try to close up.
Giroud Vizza started down in P7, is up into P4 already on lap 10 as ISO09 picks up a 3-second time penalty down there in P14. Another driver to get knocked out of Q1, but it's up into P14. They made a few places. And into turn 4 we go. Walter still stays ahead of Total P's and C4 Gamer. Meanwhile, the second part of this trade, Giroud stays ahead of Rudy, Bompier, Ferg, Alex and Tigriff. 5 cars in that DRS trade there. We've got another group performing behind Duwell, who's fighting off AJ. Duwell got past AJ on the previous lap, so he's back up into P10. Those two exchanging positions lap after lap. But obviously, coming towards lap 10, the tyres might start to drop off and coming towards AJ's favour, so that's when he'll start to make a move back on Duwell. As we make our way onto lap 11, Walter still leads ahead of Total P. C4 Gamer in P3, Giroud Vizza in P4, dragging along a train behind him. But Giroud Vizza has closed the gap to 3.4 now, so he is making time towards C4 Gamer. 3 seconds now, so he's getting a lot of time with those guys ahead. But will Total P make a move down into turn 3 we go? He's got a lot of ERS, so I wonder if you could try and get a really good exit here. Get close behind him, use the DRS and the ERS to try and get past Walter. He's championship contender. Will he make a move down into turn 4? Nope, he's just too far back to do so.
Yeah, just couldn't get the exit, just couldn't get the traction down on the exit of turn 3 as well as Walter did. And I think for Total P's, he's going to have to stay in second, but crucially, Seabroil Gamer still behind him, but Jerome now 3.1 seconds is the gap, so he's chipping away at it slowly but surely here on lap 11.
C4 Gamer down to P3 there will be very annoyed that he's picked up a 3-second time penalty early in this race. He knows he's got the pace to try and stick with the top guys like he did in Mexico and previous races, but penalties being his kryptonite and dropping him further down the field as C4 Gamer makes a mistake coming out of turn 1, but saves the car. You can see the tyres started to. Here comes Total P's then, making a move very early on Walter, and here he is then, back up into P1 in turn 3. Will Walter try and do the switchback move, try and get DRS and ERS, get a better exit than him? No, he doesn't. But will he use the ERS down the straight now to get re-overtaken Total P's? No, he stays behind. So it's his turn to try and save the battery. And we're on lap 12 at 36. This is when you'll see some pit stops start to happen. When will they start to pit? Where can they pit? I think they'll pit. They come out right behind Indian Jesus because they got a marginal gap. And set to 2.
And Fergan, I think that.
Oh, that's a massive crash.
And that's going to bring out a safety car, and I think now we're going to see everybody diving into the pits.
I've never seen that before.
I didn't quite get to see what happened with the accident, but I think you got to think where these cars are. Ferg and Nolsey, they must have come together on the exit of turn 4. Possibly, I mean, an Alex Albon, Lewis Hamilton type incident with just graver consequences, but. Fortunately for the both of them, that's the end of their race. And look at that, everybody diving into the pits here, except for AJ, who wisely, he's going to stay out on those medium tires and take that track position.
never seen a crash like that happen before between the two cars facing each other. Have you?
No, I don't. It's not one I've seen all that often, if ever. If I'm being honest, as I'm trying to think back to what I've seen. But I do know some drivers do like to get. They like to tend to feel confident that they can get an overtake going down the hill into turn 4. But I mean, the nature of the corner, downhill, a little off camber on the exit, just forces that car to the outside. But generally, not too often you'll see contact where both drivers are on the inside of that corner, out of the race. So I'm curious to see what happened there. But I mean, I'm sure we won't know unless it ends up in that in the stewards report.
AJ from B18 is now leading the race in P1. Indy Jesus has put on a brand new set of soft compound tyres. Expect him to be quicker in these early stages, or in this second stint of the race. But he'll have to pit again onto a brand new set of mediums because those softs cannot go to the end of this race. So AJ is our new race leader ahead of Total P's. Maybe he could play games with Total P's because Walter and AJ, the constructors, looking really healthy at the top, and could possibly help aid Walter towards Total P. So Total P is a bit of Mercedes sandwich there where she doesn't want to be. Bit of position changing down there the field. Wonder what's going on. Oh, Mr. BT's in the pit lane, that's why. Into the pits he goes, and he's going to put on a brand new set of soft compound tyres. So another one going on the soft compound tyres along with ISO 9. So definitely go for another strategy there.
Yeah, some of these drivers near the bottom of the order, not with Knight actually putting on a set of medium tires here. So I think regretting or making a decision, switching that choice there. But Mr. BT and Jesus putting on a set of softs. I think they're just going for something different here. Try to get the jump while the grid is going to be bunched up, to try to gain a few positions on those soft tires, and possibly either hope for another safety car or just build a gap by the time they need to pit, and maybe put on another set of softs at the end of the race.
I've been noticed that Mr. BT has been lagging, so hopefully it don't affect other drivers. But this brings Mark and Giant back in contention then. There's 2 Alpha Tires went out of the early parts of the race. Mark stayed in, and so did Giant, so hopefully those two can redeem themselves a bit by getting themselves some good championship points, because they need it for AlphaTauri.
Yeah, and very crucially, Nathan JB as well. The safety car has helped him get right back into the thick of things. We saw he had a little bit of struggles in the earlier part of the race, especially on lap 1. But now in P15, right back up to the back of the grid. He's poised to possibly make some moves here once we head back to green flag racing. Mr. BT diving into the pits here, interestingly enough. I'm not too sure what the call is.
Medium tyres, do I see on that Ferrari? Yes, it is. He's going to switch over to medium, so he's regretting going on the soft compound tyres because he knows they can't go to the end. They can, but it'll be very, very risky. So the only driver on the soft compound tyres is Indian Jesus down there in P11, making his way back to league racing. He won a race in Brazil last time. I think he won a race in Bahrain last season as well. So he is no stranger to winning races, but nice to see him back on the grid.
Yep, and I'm thinking here with the tire choice. It could be just the fact that, I mean, you've got to use 2 compounds. Whether you do 1 lap or 20 laps on that compound, you just got to use both of them. So it could just be a strategy here. Just get that 1 lap on the soft tires and then switch right back to the mediums. So you're essentially doing mediums to mediums, but with just that 1 lap on the softs to abide by the rules here.
Someone did that in USA in ISO. You're very right there, Eric.
Yep.
Anyway, safety car is coming in at the end of this lap then, so AJ will be our new race leader, and obviously he'll be vulnerable to the guys behind being on those medium compound tyres. He'll have new softs towards the end though. Let's see if another safety car will appear in this race, and oh, he's going on the grass there. AJ was not paying attention there, but anyways, he controlled the safety car restart. He has to make sure he doesn't brake accelerate, and is his decision when to go, and is it now? Yes it is. Now here we go then for the safety car restart. And who's got a good restart? Look at C4 Gamer behind Walter there. Will he make a move into turn 1? He thought about it, but no, he doesn't. He stays behind Walter. Now he's vulnerable towards Rudy. Well, Total P's making a move on AJ. He's got to, really, because on all the tyres, they don't want to get a hold up behind him. As we make our way, he's going to go right the outside then. We see these two go side by side before. And Total P's with a lovely exit gets past AJ. Now, will AJ fight back, or will he give the position up to Walter? He stays in P2 for the time being, but he might have to pull over towards his teammate because there's no point holding him up. And there we go, then here's the switch between AJ and Walter. Now it's AJ's job to defend. Oh, C4 Gamer's hit the back of it as contact. C4 Gamer has spun. That's a massive shame towards C4 Gamer. The difference has been with the newer tyres versus older tyres. He didn't judge the corner well between AJ, because AJ and older tyres will take that corner slowly as it's on older tyres. Nathan's going to go down the inside in a place you expect to see overtaking. They're side by side, and J-Law's trying to stick around the outside. As another side by side on the straight we go towards lap 17. Nathan's up into P11. Here comes ISO Night on J-Law. He's taking the position away from him. Up into P11 he goes. That's a shame there for C4 Gamer. And here comes Jeroen Visser going down the inside of AJ. Also crucial for him to get past so we don't get hold up behind him and lose connection between the top two, because he's looking to try. Oh, he's got a penalty. How's Jeroen Visser? I didn't really see him pick up a penalty, but here comes Rudy on AJ. Down into turn 4 we go. Move's been done. India Jesus on those soft compound tyres made up 4 places already. India Jesus and P7 is about to make another one ahead bump here. They go side by side. Coming into turn 6 we go. Sorry about that. Side by side again. AJ going around the outside. This is so close between the two. India Jesus has got up to P6. Good move from the German driver. Now he's behind AJ. You expect him to overtake him with ease on those brand new softs versus the old mediums. Now, I noticed last season India Jesus struggled to save ERS, and it's looked like he's struggling again. ERS is his biggest downfall in league racing because he always struggles to save it, and this could be the case again on his return back to racing. AJ's got DRS off the back of Rudy. India Jesus will try and make a move into turn 4, trying to set him up because he should get better grip coming out of turn 3. Which he does, as you can clearly see. Has AJ got DRS? No, he hasn't, so he's going to be vulnerable. And here comes Indian Jesus making his way up to P5 from P11. 6 places within 2 laps. Good progress so far from Indian, but obviously he's going to pit again onto a brand new set of softs and see what he could do from there. So the top 2 then. Total P is ahead of Walter by 4 tenths. Then comes Jeroen Visser, 1 second behind the 2. He needs to close in and try and get in that DRS range because he's got Rudy for company in P4 there. Indian Jesus on a brand new set of soft compound tyres, 1.5 seconds behind Rudy. And head bump here behind AJ. AJ on the old medium compound tyres, so he'll be struggling towards this point of the race.
Yeah, oh, sorry.
I was going to say anything, mate.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say for AJ, unfortunately, I mean, I don't blame the call to stay out a little longer on the mediums, but for AJ's sake, not really moving in the right direction here. As you can see, just the pace difference between the fresher tires and the much more worn tires means that AJ, having restarted in P1, down in 6th, and really feeling pressure now from Het Bombje. For that P6, and it looks like going down the outside is the Alfa Romeo, side by side, wheel to wheel here as they head down the hill, and there looked to be a tiny little bit of contact.
AJ spun. He's lost traction coming out of turn 4. Somebody else just spun as well. That was DC. DC was fighting with an AlphaTauri of Mark, so 2 drivers have spun coming towards turn 4. That's a shame because we already see 2 drivers make contact there before with Alex and Ferg. Now AJ and DC making contact again. He made contact with Mark trying to go down the inside, and AJ just lost our traction due to those tyres being very old. Here comes C4 Gamer going around the outside. You can see the driver who made contact with get past him. And here comes Walter for the race lead. It overtakes Pease on lap 20 of this race, but Total Pease will have DRS on the back of Walter. Can he get a good exit and try and get him back? There's Jeroen Visser and Rudy. They're in P3 and P4 just waiting to pounce at any moment. And Total Pease, ISO Night down in P13 there. Something must have happened to him. BT's
Looks
retired.
like, yeah,
Ice
and that looked
Night,
to be.
Ice Night is shouting in the background there. I could hear him.
Yeah, no, I was. Apologies about that. I've got. I'm a little bit close to the pit wall here on my end, getting some of that team radio. Knight really. I think he's not too happy with the with that incident there. You gotta think Mr. BT might have had something to do with it there, or was a part of it at the very least. But you can just hear the frustration from the Alfa Romeo driver as. I mean, good news if there is any. The safety car is back out, so not as much time going to be lost as he's going to have to change those tires and get a brand new front wing to boot on that car.
It was nice to hear ISO Knight's reaction there because I knew it was him and Mr. BT because they were close together. They both went off the track. It said Mr. BT picked up a 5. Oh, both McLarens are double stacking there. It said Mr. BT picked up a 5-second time penalty before that accident happened, so I'm not quite sure if being erratic there and making moves he shouldn't be making. But anyways, it's cost ISO all night. He's changed his front wing now onto a brand new set of softs. He goes and he continues. But I thought it was quite funny, but obviously it wasn't funny for him to hear his reaction. I could hear him shouting in the background.
Yeah, and it looks like I just pulled up the race director very quickly here while we've got the time. That 5-second penalty you saw was for corner cutting. It seems to be the call, so wherever that comes in, it looks like Nathan JB might have been involved there, as there seemed to be a collision with Nathan JB. Just looking at the race director here a little bit.
Must have been dramatic because Mr. BT flew straight into the wall as I flicked on board into turn 3 with somebody. So yeah, that was must have been a heavy crash between those guys. Head Bompia, P4, looking for a podium because Chivuza has a 3-second time penalty. C4 Gamer down in P14 there trying to make amends after making contact with AJ. AJ in P13 and a brand new set of softs. So Rudy pitted as well. He was in contention for a podium in P4, P3 there. So brand new soft runners are Rudy, Indian Jesus, Jime, DC, AJ, Knight and Duel. 14 laps to go in this race, 13 towards the end of the safety car, and those soft tyres can go towards the end now due to the safety car being out. So Rudy's looking very comfortable down there in P9 if he can get some moves being done. Indian Jesus, interestingly, went on a brand new set of softs, but I think he had to do that because those other softs weren't going to quite make it to the end. So he's on a brand new set of softs into the top 10 he is. Jime in P11 in the AlphaTauri. Where's Mark? P6 after spinning on the first lap. He's making amends after that. To Griff in P5, not talked about to Griff much. He was fighting his teammate Alex, who's out of the race. Where did he start, to Griff? He started in P16, so we got knocked out of Q1. He's in P5 at the moment, doing a good job. And safety car is in this lap then, so about to see some more action as the second safety car will disappear. And this time it'll be Walter who'll be leading the pack.
Yep. So we'll see what Walter can do. Of course, AJ taking the second safety car, taking that opportunity to put on a fresh set of soft tires here, as he can find himself right back into this pack. So it's gonna be interesting here to see. You've got these the runners on the softs, slightly more worn mediums here in the top 8. Are we going to see a little bit like what we saw with Indian Jesus after the first restart, or are these medium tire runners going to have just a little bit more pace, being slightly fresh? But Wouter leading away on the safety car, and Jamie, take us through the restart.
AJ's got a 3-second time penalty already then, so what a way he's doing down there in P14. He's right behind the real DC in P12. J-Law also picks up a 3-second time penalty. Penalties galore around this track like he was back in Mexico, with Seymour Gamer picking up a lot of penalties down there. And he's picked up another one as well in P13. So make our way down into turn 3. Anybody looking to make any overtakes? Look at that, Rudy and J-Law going side by side. Rudy on those soft compound tyres gets a much better exit. And that's Rudy's teammate, Haas, ahead of him. I meant Nathan, sorry. Would he make it easier for him? Because they're both on different strategies. No, he doesn't. I thought Nathan would have moved out away from Rudy because obviously Rudy's going to be much quicker at this phase of the race, and he doesn't. So looks like Nathan's compromising Rudy's performance there. He could be past him by now. And onto the back of Mark because I would have done that. So obviously you don't want to let your teammate go in certain circumstances, but in this circumstance, different strategies going on. Your teammate could get on the podium, and there he is there. Will Rudy try and go down the inside? Or how far? No, Nathan backs out. Indian Jesus goes down the inside in that penultimate corner. So that was a brave move for him to do that.
Yeah, and I think for the two Haas drivers, I think that was probably the plan to let Rudy through, but they had to really pick their time with J-Law at the time being very close. But now Indian Jesus on the softs going alongside of Nathan JB. Is he going to get the move done down the inside into turn 3? It's close. And it looks like I think he just got the overtake done. Yes, he does, as he finds the traction on the exit.
So ADG and Rudy already making moves then as J-Law is putting pressure on Nathan JB. When he go around the outside, both on the same time as J-Law and Nathan. Oh, J-Law goes off the track there, not enough space there. That was fair enough from Nathan, he had the racing line. Jives up into P10, here comes his brother's going down the inside. Here comes Seymour Game on I709. I709 and Seymour Game are so side by side now. I709 has the outside line on the soft compound tyres. It should be easier for him on those softs, but there's Seymour Game is still around the outside, and they're going to go side by side into the penultimate corner. Now he's got the inside line. We'll see try and fight him around the outside. Gets forced off the track, but he has to because there's nowhere to go. I709 up into P10. Oh, not P10, P13. Good racing there from the two, no contact whatsoever, so that was respect there from both of them. I709 up into P13 after trying to get back in the points after what happened between him and Mr. BT. DRS is enabled. Here comes Rudy. Will he try and go down the inside of Mark? Yes, he is. Down the inside he goes. Mark knows he's coming, he's there. And yeah, Rudy's up into P6 now. DRS enabled. Here comes Indian Jesus. He gets a much better exit than Mark. And it should be an easy move for him as he goes down the inside into turn 4. Oh, hits the back of Rudy, but thankfully no front wing damage. Just broke later than him. Up into P7 he goes.
Yep, Nathan JB got ahead of Jime once again, as now AJ Wuhan putting a lot of pressure on Jime, but I think he's going to have to stick behind. Not much of an overtaking opportunity there, unless of course you're... of course, United seems who's really trying to make the most of his opportunities. Oh, but AJ, I think he thought about it. Nice little switchback on the penultimate corner, and yeah, there we go. AJ up ahead of Jime, up in the top 10 here on those softs. So a nice little move. Jime left the door open, and AJ, you didn't have to tell him twice there.
These drivers going absolutely at it this season. This is what we like to see racing from all of them. As Total P's is right behind Wilds. There's Jaruvas down in P3. Head Bob here 1.6 seconds behind. He's got Scriff right behind him. Then the soft runner of Rudy. Total P's then. When are we making this overtake? He's used a lot of ERS already. As Walter's used all of his ERS. So Walter is vulnerable behind Total Peace. Total Peace can start playing games now as he will find it easier to save ERS. A bit of twitch coming out there from Walter. As Head Bompier and Griff were going side by side, but Head Bompier just stays ahead of Sir Griff. They've got the soft runners of Rudy and Indian Jesus to look out for, so they can't afford to fight too much, otherwise they'll have those two on their tail. Somebody's just spun coming out. That is I709. I knew it was him because he was shouting again. Please don't be happy.
And Royal Gamer, I think, getting involved in similar spots. They both went for spins through turn 5, turn 6. I mean, I'm sure you heard the disappointment from one of those drivers there.
Rudy is in P5 ahead of Tegriff. Head Bompier. His chances of a podium are getting slimmer now. He's just picked up a penalty, but here goes Total P's on Walter. And that's a good move there from Total P's. Outbreaks himself slightly. Here comes I709's retired in the pit lane. He's had enough. Walter has DRS then on the back of Total P's. Will he try and make a move down into turn 4, or will he wait and try and recharge the battery? Rudy's got past Head Bompier for P4. This could be a podium for Rudy if he can keep this pace up. He's 1.6 seconds behind Giroux Visser. Rudy looking fantastic and good in their P4. I don't know what I was saying there. I was saying some random things.
Yeah, but I mean, Rudy being on the fresher soft tires with the help of DRS, bit of an easy move on Head Bompier to get up into P4, and like you mentioned, he's got the pace, he's got the tire advantage here, and crucially with Jerome having a time second penalty in P3, if he can keep that gap consistent, it might be could be a podium for the Haas driver here.
Action throughout the field. This has been a spectacular race and we're not over yet. It's lap 28 out of 36. Walter is right behind Total P's. 3 tenths is the gap in it. Giroud Visa is also there. Will Walter try and go down the inside? Yes, no, he doesn't. Total P's breaks later. Would he go wide though? Would he mess up his exit? No, he doesn't. Good exit there from Total P's. And further back, somebody's got off the track. Head Bompier has got off the track there. And side by side is Indian Jesus and Head Bompier. One of those two made contact. And here comes Mark. Down the inside he goes on Indian Jesus. And he's up into P6. Here's to Griff. To Griff made contact with Indian Jesus' rear tyre. And thankfully he didn't get sent to a spin. Here comes the two brothers. The two brothers going side by side now. Nathan is ahead of AJ. Obviously Nathan's on the medium compound tyre, so he'll struggle towards AJ. Indian Jesus losing grip as well because the grip is right behind him. They're making contact. Look at that. Hopefully they don't crash into each other. And Indian Jesus has lost all of his positions. He's dropped into P11, so I wonder if he's lost his front wing.
Might be the case. He's diving into the pits. I can see him struggling getting into the pit lane. So I think there might be a little bit of damage on that Aston Martin car here.
Mercedes has retaken the lead off of Total P's. Back up into P1. These two are exchanging positions. This must be frustrating for Giroud Visa. Knowing he can't get past. Mark has got a past. Head Bompier up into P5 he goes. AJ has got a past. Nathan is going side by side with Griff, so Nathan also making an optimistic move there as they're still side by side. They've both got DRS off the back of AJ. The question is who? Total P's has got past Walter into turn 4. And here comes Nathan onto Griff. They give a bit of a squeeze. Oh, look at that. Here comes Jibe. He'll take two of them on if he can. He gets on the grass. And that's not what you want whatsoever. Bit of wheel banger between the AlphaTauri and the Red Bull there. As De Griff stays ahead of Jaime. So Jaime tried taking both of them on, but he had to go on the grass to do so. And he's lost a lot of grip and time as well, for good measure.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Jaime, just clipping the grass, unfortunately left him worse off there as couldn't get the overtake done and lost out in the position to T-Griff in the process.
Who is going to win this race? Will it be Total P's? Will it be Walter? Unlikely Giroud Visa because he's got a 3-second time penalty on his shoulders. That's a Alpine. And there comes Walter back on the race lead for Giroud Visa. Aston Martin, sorry, who spun. It's Indian Jesus, I believe. Both Aston Martins had a horrible race. But look at that. Walter's run out of ERS on the straight. And here comes Total P's back for the race lead on Walter. Giroud Visa sitting in P3. Absolutely frustrating. There's no way he can get past unless those two make a big mistake. Here comes Mark back down the inside of Head Bompier. Head Bompier has the outside line and he maintains his P5 ahead of Mark. Mark looking for a redemption drive after spinning on the first lap.
Yeah, still doing a great job there, running in P6, coming very close, but just couldn't keep it down the what would have been the outside of turn 5, as he's gonna have to stick in 6th place. But once again, another lap, another shot here with the 3 DRS zones here in Austria. He's just got to close up enough to get it done, maybe going into turn 3.
Back on the second straight with Walter, Total P's and Giroud Visa. Walter, will he make a move up down the inside of Total P's into turn 2? He backs out of it, he lifts off because he wants DRS for the third straight. Tactically using it, and Mark's still behind Head Bompier. And here we go on the third straight. Total P's is vulnerable towards Walter. Walter, he doesn't go down the inside on this occasion though. He stays behind Total P's for the time being. What about Mark and Head Bompier? Mark stays behind Head Bompier but got AJ for company on those soft compound tyres to Griff. Side by side with Nathan. Nathan gets put on the curb there and he stays in P9, does to Griff. If you put your opponent on the curb, it would make him harder to get a better exit because they'll lose traction. You don't want to get the curves while applying the power. So that's a good tactic as well, because down into turn 3, you can go side by side, put your opponent on the curb and try and get a better exit because they can't really slam the throttle on, otherwise they'll lose traction. So that's a good tactic there for Griff to do.
Yeah, but of course a fine line to take there. You've got to, to quote Fernando Alonso, you got to leave space. But of course, if you're leaving just enough space, that's definitely the tactic. Is now Wouter back ahead of Total P's, a yellow flag in Sector 1. I think that was Jaime that had a moment, as he's going very slow on the exit of Turn 1. But Wouter in the lead of the race. Oh, well, right as I say that, Total P's with the DRS going into Turn 4. He retakes the lead of the Grand Prix here on lap 32. At this point, feels like it's going to be a coin flip as to who takes the win between these two drivers.
Exactly. Giroud is sitting in P3 thinking, I can't get past these guys. These guys are always changing positions while I was stuck here in P3. I know how it feels like because been in that situation before, but crucially Jeroen has got more ERS than both of them combined, because Walter 5%, Jeroen total P is 14%. So in terms of ERS, that's the advantage that Jeroen's got, but crucially a 3-second time penalty hover over in his name, so that's not what he wants whatsoever. But still, he's not going to give up. He's a pride racer. He's not going to back out despite having a penalty. And who is that? That's Nathan who's spun.
Nathan. I didn't see it happen, but seems to be on the penultimate corner once again. Seems to be a bit of a kryptonite for Nathan here this afternoon, this evening, as it's another spin. Wouter, meanwhile, retakes the lead of the race. We'll see if Total P's can come back at him this time around once again. It looks like we saw last lap, Total P's getting the overtake done going into turn 4. So once again, they're switching positions. Wouter taking the lead, but just can't seem to hold on to it on the exit of turn 3, heading into turn 4.
Coming towards the main closing stages of this race, the battle between the top 3 has been phenomenal throughout the whole race. Just Walter and Total P's exchanging positions. Rudy, 11 lap hole tyres. His tyres are coming towards the end of the cliff, so he's going to watch out for tyre wear now, but he's still in contention for a podium. All he needs to do is not pick up a 3-second time penalty. He's in the DRS range of those guys. Remember back in Britain where Rudy won the race, being on those soft compound tyres. We thought it was a bad strategy, but it made him win the race, and that was his first race, first win of the season. And here comes Walter back on Total P's. Like Eric said, it's just a coin flip to see who's going to win this race. It's either Total P's or Walter. And obviously Total P's with a little bit more ES compared to Walter. What Total P's needs to do, he knows Walter is flashing red. He needs to try and save up a bit of ES as Total P's to try and get him. Bompia has got past Mark. Those two have had a bit of a fight for P5. Those two have been changing positions ever since the second safety car went in. And will they go side by side coming towards turn 5? No, Bompia stays in P5 ahead of Mark, but both of them have got AJ for company on their tail as well. Dual's got to Griff for company in P8. Dual's tyres are also coming towards the end of their life, so that'll bring to Griff into play. Bearing in mind, Griff's tyres are 20 lap old, so probably both around the same state of each other. And look at that, Rudy is right behind Jeroen Visser. This could be very fascinating to watch as AJ has got past Mark. They go side by side into turn 1. AJ has made the move. Total P's. Look at that, they're so tantalising close as Rudy hits the back of Jeroen Visser.
A little bit of a tank slapper from Jeroen Visser there, but now both having DRS. Rudy trying to use as much ERS as he can, albeit not much left in the tank there in that battery. Just can't get ahead, and like you're mentioning, the tires might start to fall off the cliff here with the softs, as AJ and Head Bombjay are side by side as they're going through turn 5. Little bit of wheel-to-wheel action there, as looks like it's still anybody's position to play for through into turn 6. And we might see another little side-by-side race. Actually, now that I say that, AJ just gets ahead before the penultimate corner here.
Last lap of this race. Who is going to be? Will it be Jeroen Visser? No, sorry. Will it be Walter or will it be Total P's? And Rudy is in P4, looking pretty in there on those soft compound tyres. Total P's can see the flashing light on the back of Walter's car. And here he is there. They go side by side, but Total P's backing out to get the DRS for the next straight, which he has. Around the outside goes Total P's. DRS is enabled. Walter does not have DRS. He's going to be vulnerable if Jeroen Visser gets close to him. And will Jeroen Visser go down the inside into turn 4? No, he doesn't. I'm surprised he send it down the inside, but bearing in mind he's got a 3-second time penalty, so I don't expect him to do so. Mark is going side by side with Head Bompia. Mark's trying to go down the inside off the tree. The tree stays in P6 there, ahead of Mark. And this looks like it's going to end like this with Rudy being on the podium. Rudy will take the podium if he doesn't get a 3-second time penalty. Jeroen Visser can't do anything about it, of course. Head Bompia is still behind AJ. AJ up into P5, but he's got penalties on his name. Around the final corner, Total P's will come across the line to win the Austrian Grand Prix ahead of Walter. Jeroen Visser will finish in 4th behind of Rudy. AJ will finish in P something when the penalties start to kick in. Mark takes P5 after a disappointing first lap. came back to finish in P5. His teammate DNF'd to Griffin P6, had Bob at P7, Real DC in P8, AJ P9, his brother in P10, J-Law P11, Dealwell in P12, Seavor Gamer crashes towards the line, and Indian Jesus, both Aston Martins having a terrible race, down in P13 and P14. They still score points though, because P15 is where you can score points, top 15.
Yep, so crucially still points there for the two Aston Martins, albeit not having the best race. I mean, Total Peas and Wouter, we said it was going to be a toss-up, a bit of a coin flip here, but on the last lap, Total Peas got the move done. He was able to hang on to the lead and take the victory here. I mean,
Our drivers have started to go into the session then as Total Peas celebrates the podium. Congrats to him, did a fantastic job. Knowing when to overtake Walter on that last lap, controlling his ERS management, whereas Walter couldn't. Another victory for Total Peas. It started to close in on Jamu Vizza for the championship. Quite a few points behind, but there's still 4 races to go. See if we can try and close in on second place there. First place is a bit of a stretch, but we're just waiting for Rudy to join. Then we can start with the podium interviews. Second consecutive race, or I think it's third, that Total Peas has beat Jeroen. So it looks like Total Peas is on form in this second part of the season, and Rudy has joined. So all 3 drivers are here in the podium interviews. And guys, can you make sure your voice is allowed to be shared, please? I think we'll go. So Rudy, P3 mate, back in the podium. Congratulations, mate. How do you feel after that race? I'm looking at the chat, and most of the drivers are saying you're the driver of the day, which I do agree on, because you did a fantastic job gambling over to those soft compound tyres and making all those positions up. So congratulations on P3. This is your first podium since round 3, which was back in the Netherlands, so you must be happy with getting back on the podium. I'm glad you're back at the podium, really, because you're an interesting driver to look out for. You won the first race of the season, but ever since that, it's just gone a little bit downhill for you because it looks like you were in intention for the championship. Because the first 3 races you finished in first, second, and third. First, second, and third. Then after that, it's just kind of dropped off. So, what is it in terms of you in racing? Like, do you struggle for consistency? Like, is it your race pace, or does qualifying pace need to improve as well? Because you're a really quick driver, but sadly we just don't see you up there as often. But you're back up there now. Decent points to bring you back in the top 10 in the championship because you are P12, so that you should be able to move up. But Singapore is the next race. Are you looking forward to that, mate? Yeah, I did. I never raced it, so I don't know what it's like. Last time I raced it was probably 2019. But anyways, congrats on the podium, man. Nice to see you back up here. Knight, you got any questions for him?
I mean, I do have one for Rudy. You mentioned it yourself after that safety car, absolutely flying on the softs. Were you comfortable with, let's say, the tire wear coming at the end, or did you have a little bit of a worry that maybe they would have hit the cliff and?
Before you answer that question, Rudy, your voice is not allowed to be shared, so can you please share it? No, mate. Oh, that's fine. Thank you to KSI, your race engineer, to tell me. It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. Go to party settings and scroll down to allowed to be shared. Go to your party, and you should see some options on the right hand side where it says add players. Yeah, settings, party settings, and it should say.
Yeah, it's allowed now.
So I don't want to repeat all that, but
Sorry.
just Nike, can you Monkey, can you repeat your question to Rudy again, please?
Yeah, of course. I mean, without the whole opener, I was just curious, getting near the end of the race, those last few laps, being on the soft tires, were you still feeling comfortable on them, or were you worried that they were just going to fall off the cliff a little bit and maybe watch that podium possibly slip away from you just with the tire wear and whatnot?
Yeah, when I went into the softs, I was quite sure they would be able to make it, but I knew they were going to drop off. So yeah, there was quite a few aggressive moves by me. I was just sending it everywhere. I just had to get past as soon as possible because I had to make sure I could use those fresh tires to get back to the top 3. Yeah, the tires in the end they were quite old, but again, thanks to the help of Crystal and Cakes, I was able to manage it to the end.
So, well, a team effort indeed, and congrats on the podium for you.
Yeah, cheers.
Moving on to second place is Walter. Walter, mate, not the result you wanted, but anyways, you extend your championship lead over Javu Vizza. So, how do you feel about this race?
I'll take it.
You take it.
Ahead of you, I'll take it. I would have wished for more of a fight that last lap, but I had to cover Jeroen, so my line was not great into turn 4. So yeah, then Peace just was able to swoop by in turn 3. So yeah, it was not the fight I wanted, but I'll take being ahead of Jeroen. How
do you feel? Do you think you could have done something different in that race to try and to win the race of total Ps?
No, not really.
Could you have tried to stay behind him, regain that battery, and try and go for another attack on him?
I don't really gain it, but we were swapping positions a lot, and it wasn't if let's say I broke, I think Jeroen would have tried something on me, so not really.
And Q1, obviously you validated or made a mistake on your first lap. Were you a bit nervous that you weren't going to make it on your second lap with the track starting to be greasy?
No, I got on my first lap I got held up by who is it? Indian Jesus.
Yeah.
He on the last turn he parked it on track and I had to follow him into turn one, and we were side by side on both on hot laps. So then yeah, I backed out.
In the last 4 races, championship lead has gone up now ahead of Giroud Vizor. Do you think you're confident now you're going to win this championship?
There's still some difficult races out there, but it's definitely looking good.
How are you feeling for Singapore?
Singapore should be nice. I love the track, so that's good.
Before the safety car came out, were you thinking about doing an undercut on total P's?
Well, I figured out we wanted to pit the same lap. So, yeah, no, the undercut wasn't going to work, but I would probably stay out and try something differently.
And how are you feeling?
Yeah.
How are you feeling for Singapore, mate?
Singapore, yeah, I think it should be good. Peter's been saying he thinks Singapore is good for him as well, so we'll see. Should be a good fight.
You got any questions for Walter Monkey?
Honestly, I think you covered it all. I just gotta say, congrats on the P2. It was a solid drive from you, Walter.
Thank you.
Moving on to Total Peace. Total Peace, man, congratulations. You've done an outstanding job yet again here in Austria. Judged it well with the overtake and the laps coming. How do you feel, mate?
Yeah, I feel good. It was an interesting race, but it's what Austria is, just train, DRS train. But yeah, happy I got the win.
I think this is your 4th podium in a row, so you've done fantastic in these last few races, mate. Do you think you could take second place away from Giroud in the championship? Is that possible, do you think?
If it keeps going like this, yeah, because Jeroen's got favourable tracks coming up, so hopefully.
How are you feeling for Singapore, by the way?
I enjoyed that track a lot.
Can we expect another race win from you?
Not so much. Quality not so much, but race pace for sure. So yeah, you'll hear back from me here next week.
Your
That's what I say on that.
Your race pace has been phenomenal. Not to mention your qualifying, because you were 2-3 tenths quicker than second place Walter. So you're looking really fire for Total P's.
Yeah, quality was. I think I was the only one who managed to actually set good laps. Because even on the mediums, I don't know why, I was managed to set 3 just nice clean laps, and it did the job. So I was happy about that.
Being in that train with first, second, and third, were you worried about collecting any penalties?
Not until the last 6, because I didn't have any warnings until lap 30, and then I got 2 in quite a short amount of time. So I was worried about the end, but I just tried to keep it clean and bring it home.
Phenomenal performance yet again from you, Total P's, mate. There was some good battle between you and Walter. Then, how did you describe those battles?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I know the limits. We both know the limits. It's always a good race between us.
Were you worried about third place trying to make a move and disrupting your race win?
Yeah, especially at the last lap. I was worried about you and even Rudy, because Rudy was hot on the fast softs. So I thought it was going to be an interesting turn 3 for sure. But luckily, I managed to swoop around the outside and get the RS again, which I think won me the race. So yeah.
I'm so happy for you recently. The only flaws you had this season were the beginning and your internet connection issues, but you've been absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, just trying to find my feet again, you know.
Yep, and it's good to show. Maybe next season you can fight for the championship. I know it's so early to say, but yeah.
If I decide not to bottle early, then yeah, hopefully.
Alright, thank you guys for joining. Now, you got any questions for Total P's?
I mean, I do have one here, especially getting to the end of the race, getting to crunch time, the final few laps. Were you starting to maybe plan your approach to these overtakes a little bit more calculated, in order to, given that you and Wouter, were essentially swapping positions lap after lap? Was that something you were maybe keeping in the back of your mind? Oh, maybe I should hold off on this lap, go for it on the next lap, knowing that we're just switching back and forth lap after lap to try to help yourself to get to the top step of the podium.
Yeah, I did that on lap 35. I stayed behind him within the DRS, just shut everything down so I could save a tiny bit more battery because we'd all drained after the last safety car just to pull from everyone. And so I knew if I can save that tiny bit of battery and keep it behind him, I can get him on the last lap.
All right. Well, I mean, it worked out for you, and congratulations on the win. It was a fantastic drive, and I mean, enjoy the champagne.
Thank you.
Congrats everybody, well done. We'll see you all at Singapore for round 12 out of 15. Only a few more races left to go for this season. Can Total P's win again next week, or will it be Walter?